Welcome back to From Corporate to Cashflow. We are Andrea Cannon and Liz Schwab, two pharmacists navigating the process of building time and financial freedom through real estate lending and investing while working our day jobs. Navigating the journey is difficult, but our podcast guests are experts in showing us how it's done. And today we have Kat Aguilar Smith. Kat, thanks so much for joining us.
Thank you so much for having me, Andrea and Liz. Appreciate you guys.
Yes, Kat, thanks so much for joining us today. I am very excited to get to know you more and excited to learn more about an avenue that we necessarily haven't dug into that much. So with that said, I'd love to hear a little bit more about like how did you get started? Tell us a little bit about your journey and what are you focusing on specifically today?
Sure. So I'll start going backwards, then what I'm currently doing now, and then kind of work backwards. It might be a little easier. Yeah. So I'm Kat, everybody. Honestly, I've always had an entrepreneurial spirit just because my parents were entrepreneurs and immigrated here, but I had to kind of figure out for myself a lot of different things. So right now, currently, I work with family offices, and if you don't know what a family office is, it's essentially a family that's, let's just say, made it. They have somewhere around 100 million, 200 million assets under management or liquidity or whatnot to actually be able to invest and impact the world. And then they set up these mandates. And so I work a lot with these people that are ultra wealthy and um, I didn't start that way. Of course, my family was middle class, emigrated here. And so I just got afforded this opportunity just by networking and just being who I am and open. So fast tracking when I was younger, and I always was involved in my parents' journey as entrepreneurs. They went into insurance, into real estate when they first got here to the country from El Salvador and Peru. They had stores and they were selling things. And so I got early on like that experience, and that was really beautiful. But I always had the doubt in my mind, like maybe I should just get a W-2 to like figure out if that's really the way that I need to go. I was always really ambitious and I was like, and so by the time I was 15 and a half, I was like, hey, I'm gonna apply. And I can't even drive. I can't, so I had to get my parents to drive me around and that's what I did. And then I was really focused on climbing the corporate ladder and like getting to like CEO or something like that. And I did. I was really good at my jobs, and I had a lot of different jobs, but the ones that really stand out are working with lawyers at a law firm. At like 17, I was making like a ridiculous amount of money for a 17-year-old. So like 24 an hour or something like that, which is unheard. Yeah, my friends are like making $8 an hour at like McDonald's. And I was just working like part time after school, like literally leaving at 3 and like getting there at 4 and working like a couple hours.
Yeah.
It was crazy. And so then that kind of afforded my resume to kind of jump from jobs. I got some great advice from people that was just like, hey, always be on the lookout for jobs and always like climb up the corporate ladder and every year transition and climb that corporate ladder if they can't give you so it was just beautiful how my journey unfolded that way. And I actually worked with a family office in my 20s, and I didn't even know what I had. I just wanted the job and I wanted the pay. And then, afterwards I was a entrepreneur. So I was a Latin dancer and I gave private lessons at night. And so I just was, yeah. But anyways, that's a lot of information. But that's really where kind of I was in the middle of both journeys. I am all about being true to women, especially entrepreneurs, people that are just starting out, to kind of tell them like the realness of the journey, because some people, are meant to be in the W-2 workforce and some people aren't. But you got to at least try, right? And so yeah, I'll let you guys ask me questions, but my journey has just been a fascinating one. I traveled also as a professional Latin dancer for 10 years with my husband. So all kind of things happened to me in that journey, but for sure, like I always kept true to myself and being like, no, what do I want? And it goes beyond the dollar because I did want to, I was ambitious, but like I also wanted to have a quality of life that was different for
Mhm.
me. Yeah.
Yeah. Wow. Okay. So you
Yeah,
have a
that's a
lot
lot.
of Very cool though. We have a lot of things we can dive into. So first I want to talk a little bit more about the family offices. So
Sure.
you said it's about 100 to 200 million or above, is that right, in value?
Correct. Yeah.
So then walk me through what happens. So are these people or families that have made it, they recognize they have a lot of money and then they seek out a family office to help manage their assets, is that correct?
So there's a lot of misconceptions about the family office, but essentially, once somebody has made it and made it being maybe they built their business to a certain extent where they can exit and they can sell it. That's usually what happens. They sell it and they just got a big chunk of change, and then they're like, okay, what do we do? Sometimes people just go straight to the bank and they rely on this bank. But if you're a little bit more in these circles, and you set up what's called a family office, and essentially it's like your own office that you dictate, okay, how do we preserve our wealth? How do we be genuine to what we want to invest in and impact the world? How do we secure generations and generations of people to of our family, I should say, to keep this idea going that we're a family first and that these are our values. And so that's really what it is. There's multiple types of family offices. There's single family offices, which takes a lot of overhead because what these families do is they hire specific CEOs. And these are not like typical CEOs. These are like Ivy League, like analysts and whatnot, because they have the money, right? And they hire like the best of the best to keep this going. And usually it looks like, hey, our family really comes together and we value let's just say saving the whales, right? And we want to do that, but also live a great life, and and maybe just also give an opportunity for the younger generations to submit their entrepreneurial spirit journey. And so we'll have voting and we'll have all this type of like corporate structure, but it's really a family, right? So that's really all it is. That's really all it is. The money is there, but it's an organized way to keep that money preserved and keep that money genuine to the family. The family office concept actually started like with the Rockefellers, and even before that it was coined family office. People were kind of doing that prior, but they kind of started it where they, if you look at the history of the Vanderbilts and the Rockefellers, like the Vanderbilts lost everything, and the Rockefellers were the ones who preserved everything. So that's really where families come in. They're like, oh my God, we have all this money now. Let's make sure not to blow it. I mean,
Super interesting.
we've heard all the stories with like the lottery people, right? It's like, it's like a crazy statistic up there that it's like as soon as you become like some kind of multimillionaire millionaire, it's like, a ridiculous amount of people. I should look up that that fact, but that's really what happens if you're
Yeah,
not
I'll have to
on
look
it.
into the history of that. So thank you for explaining that
Yeah,
and
yeah,
clearing up my misconception even. And then can you clarify what your role is then? Like how are you
yeah.
a part of the family offices?
Yeah, so that kind of goes along with my journey because I worked with a family office in Alexandria, Virginia, where I'm from, um, in my 20s. I didn't really know what a family office was, but I kind of saw what it was in my 20s. And so my role now is essentially, and this has been an evolving journey, right? This has been something that, even I wasn't sure what I was getting into. It's really just bringing them value and bringing them quality opportunities. And so my role in the very early on when I started working with the family office was like, here's my deal and please invest in my deal. And like, this is a great opportunity in IRR. And I learned like all these things, and I got into some great projects that I thought that they were just going to be like, yeah, let's go. And, and that really wasn't the case. I work with family offices in the beginning by doing that, and then failing, and then helping them build teams because I was an entrepreneur. So I was like, I can help you build teams. What do you need? You need deal flow. Let's do that. And then it's evolved into now like being a capital matchmaker, a person that introduces them to just quality people that they can do business with, and that is such a sweet spot for me because I'm helping, and that's really what like my heart wants to do. But at the same time, helping them in that capacity, whether it's, hey, I need to deploy I don't know, like $500,000, or I need to deploy $5 million this year into distressed assets and real estate, then I'm like, let me tap into my network and let me see how I can help you guys. Or hey, I really need our company here that we invested in AI, like they need some help. They need a strategic partner to like help them boost up their revenue. Hey, I know somebody. So I've turned into like the I know somebody girl. So and that's really what I'm currently doing now.
Perfect. And so before, it sounds like you had an actual like job with the family office, and now you just have the connections, and so
That's
you're
right.
that kind of point person, but not necessarily a job. Is that correct?
That's right. I work for myself. Yes.
I love
Yes, yes, yes.
love that. Oh my goodness. Well, so talk to us a little bit more about if someone wanted to start working with family offices, what would be the way that you might do that?
Yeah, I think that on that side, it's always about collaboration over competition, and collaborating with other people that are doing it, such as myself, such as other super connectors in the family office space, is a start, because it is kind of an interesting industry that is kind of under the radar. Not many people talk about family offices or understand really what they do, and really all it is that these are just families that invest in what they want to invest in. And so it's much like talking like this is an investor that likes the hotel industry, and their whole family was has invested in and stays in their lane with the hotels. And then there's other family offices that like distress assets, and they might look at like distressed RV parks, multifamily. They might look at distressed businesses, and they have their own. So it's really just an investor. They just have they're just like 20 steps ahead with some more cash flow and a lot more cash flow. So a lot more cash flow. So one is I think is working with family offices, understanding the family offices, collaborating with people that are in the industry, like super connectors like myself, people that are assisting them already, and then figuring out where you actually fit in the puzzle, because there's some people that will pitch, 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 and what family offices love is value first, and we know it from a lot of different communities, like value first. But witnessing it firsthand, it's not even just about, hey, what do you need? No, it goes beyond that. It's like, hey, what are your pain points in your business? Maybe there's a solution here that we can jump in. Like really, like what are your pain points? Like, chewing through employees because you can't find the perfect one? Maybe it's a delegation issue. Hey, I know somebody. Hey, do you need a partner with another family office so you can actually go into bigger deals? As a family office, there's all types of family offices, as there are investors that are like single family office, multifamily offices, and there's ones that like have the wealth that really like they don't need to worry about, they if they invest or not, they could just not even invest and they'd be fine. So there's all types of investors also, but it's really just providing value to these family offices, to these people.
Yeah, that makes so much sense. I mean, it's really about that for everybody, but so it's even on a bigger scale, right, with the family office. So that makes tons and tons of sense. I think one of the things I have sort of learned about family offices, and you can tell me if this is true or not, because I really haven't worked with them at all, is that, if I have like a single family home deal where I'm like, oh my gosh, look at this, it cash flows, $500 a month, and like this is the XYZ entry, all the things, like it's probably not a good fit for a family office. What really is a good fit is something much, much bigger. So can you tell us, like, on average, the size of the deals that you work with
Yeah.
for family offices?
Yeah. So family offices typically will take deals starting at 25 million. And so that's a pretty big jump. But like what I tell people is that this is kind of a long game, not a short game. And so if you're in the real estate industry and you are grinding and you're seeing success even in like the single family game, and then you want to move up into multifamily, it's good to build relationships now with these people that are 10 steps ahead of you, because they value people to people. They value the person, not and their acumen and their way of doing business. Like that really is a differentiator between even employing somebody, right? So people power is really what they look for. And so I wouldn't get discouraged if you're there, but I would definitely keep your eye on family offices and just rubbing elbows with these people, and just, hopefully finding a mentor that then will open your mind to even getting into bigger deals. And then, the perfect alignment would be if they invest with you and believe in your mission and continue on with you. To be honest, you just need one family office to really believe in your mission and what you're doing. And that's all you need for the rest of your life, probably. If they really believe in your mission. So yeah.
Yeah, that's a massive amount of money. When you said 250 million, I was like, what?
25, 25,
Oh,
25.
okay, my bad.
25. Yeah.
You're like, no, you weren't listening.
Yeah.
Okay, let's back up.
Maybe I
Even
said
20,
250.
maybe that's what I equated it to in my mind. And I heard
Yeah.
25 million. I was like, big. So just hearing that, obviously you'd have to have a lot of confidence, right? To even pitch these ideas and have the connections with the family offices. So my question to you, like going back to your W-2, at what point did you say like, yes, I'm going to take that leap and leave like this regular W-2 life or whatever and focus more on my entrepreneurial spirit? Just because that seems so massive, right? So like, what was your rationale with that?
So I want you to realize it wasn't like just like poof, all of a sudden I got like this realization. It was really like, okay, this was a long journey in coming. I mean, over a decade. And so but what I stuck true to was like I want to live life on my own terms, and I want to explore and kind of knock on doors, and it's always been very scary, always scary, but I'm just like, for whatever reason, I'm the way that I am, and I'm just gonna freaking do it. And I have an amazing partner. My husband is like freaking so persistent, and so he came into my journey 16 years ago. We've known each other for 16 years, married for 10 years, and so we kind of push each other. But to answer your question, um, when I was in the W-2 side of things, I was really afforded a really amazing opportunity to kind of just go through a lot of different jobs that interested me, right? And the W-2 force really was awesome because I got a lot of experience and I got to talk to a lot of people. So I think naturally I was gaining my confidence and growing my wings. But it probably wasn't until I started really, really working with family offices only a short several years ago that I really started to own it. And I mean, really owned it. Even I remember back when I first attended the first family office, I was scared, yeah, really scared. I was just like, I was gonna say another word, but no, like I was really scared. I was like, I literally walked into these rooms, and I walked in by myself. My husband couldn't make it because we usually do everything together, all of our businesses together. And so I'm here like little old cat, like, the only Latina also in the room. That's what you'll usually find in corporate America and then also in family offices. And I'm just like, how am I going to do deals with these people I can't even relate to, and all this stuff. And that was humbling. But then I realized like my value, when I really started to be like, how can I help you? How can I help you? That gave me wings. But from the time that I had my W-2s at the family office, even then I wasn't really like, I worked at a family office, but I wasn't as confident as I am now. Um, and the reason is that, I think along the journey, just even in the last several years, I had people that helped me lift off, especially women. A lot of my mentors were women, and they were just like, no, you have so much value. Yeah, it was like, I mean, the women in this industry that like I ended up just vibing with, and then, working with. Um, were just getting so attracted to me. We were just attracting each other's energy, and it all worked out. And the women were like, "No, you got this. And I'm going to help you. We're going to collaborate on deals. We're going to do this and we're going to do that. And you don't want to take that Zoom call you're scared to take that Google Meet, that Zoom call with this investor. I'll jump on with you. I'm going to be your wing woman and that kind of thing." And so it was really beautiful. And up until now, I look back and I'm like, yeah, this is really what people need. It's almost like a little sister, big sister thing, where it's like, no, you can do it. and look at, and a reminder to be like this is all that you've done already. You're already working in real estate and in single family. You've already gone through that. You've already gone through multifamily. Maybe you were just starting out, but what have your past jobs been? Like, you've already gone through so much. Like, you use that, and that's really been, I think, the biggest thing that has helped me, push forward. But the W-2 thing, I think the security of it, the security of having a W-2 was something that I always put into my mind. And I was like, oh my gosh, how am I gonna replace that income, right? And then the other side was like, am I gonna lose a lot of time if I leave now and not continue on this corporate ladder of where I want to achieve, right? Those were the two big things. But what I found was really, um, I opened a lot of opportunities that I would not have if I had my W-2. Like, I would not be able to just fly to freaking, Puerto Rico and meet a billionaire if I had a W-2 that I had to clock into on Wednesday, you know? And so, I was that kind of person that was like, "I'm gonna try this. Maybe I'll just give myself a year. I'm gonna try this and see what happens." And then everything just blossomed, all these relationships. At my conference in August, we had 8 billionaires. We had about 20 family offices that showed up, and it wasn't my conference is called Rhythm, Find Your Rhythm, and it's just an investors summit that just kind of teaches people, like, to get out of their shell and start. But these people, like, were all my friends, and the reason that they came were because of the relationship that we have. And and they literally, I told them all, it was like, "If you guys are gonna speak," which they all, like, came from all over the world, I was like, "If you guys are gonna speak, I need you to be with the audience. I need you to shed your heart with, like, these entrepreneurs, like, these people that wanna be entrepreneurs, that are in W-2s, that are in, these positions, because you just, like, you need to give back." And all of them already had that giving back, and so you see them in the hallways, like, networking with everybody and giving their card and their personal number. And, like, I'm like, this is so freaking cool. Like, some attendees came up to me afterwards and they're like, "You guys have like 400 people here. Like, like, I just met like 8 billionaires. Like, what? Like, like, why aren't there more people here?" And I'm like, yeah, guys. Yeah. I mean, it was beautiful to see, to be honest. It was so cool. Yeah.
Man, you have such a cool story because I'm hearing a lot of positivity about your journey and lots of mentors and people trying to lift you up, right? And I think that's so nice because I think a lot of times people don't necessarily have those connections and the people that proactively want to help you. So, as you mentioned, like the women in your community have been very helpful in proactively trying to mentor you and bring you up. So, I really like that. That's like
Yeah.
really nice to
Thank
hear
you.
because sometimes I don't think that's necessarily the case.
Yeah.
So, going back to your journey, as you mentioned, obviously you've learned a lot throughout this process, and you have a lot of years in the family offices, right? So, my question to you is what is something that you now know through either your mentorship or just your journey in general that you wish you would have known when you first started?
Oh, this is, I have like 10, but no, I'll give you like the top one. I think the biggest one is that you never want to close yourself off to an opportunity.
Mm.
A lot of, and even as women, like, we're more cautious, more, at least I'm more cautious, and I was always more vigilant about relationships, and like, my God, is this person gonna do this to me? That, like, you just get this thing, and it's very lonely on that side of things, and so, now, being with these great people, and being with, just being surrounded by freaking greatness, um, I think the biggest thing is to be open with people, and that doesn't mean give, open in the sense of, be open to the possibility of working with somebody, be open to the possibility of a conversation, and just being friends, be
Mhm.
open to the possibility of just grabbing lunch and being your quirky self, than just thinking about, like, oh my God, these people have so much money. They're just people. They have families, they have, and all that stuff. And it goes beyond like the dollar. It goes beyond like what they can invest in, because some of our family offices, they're not even deploying, but we have such a great relationship. They're not that, meaning that they're not putting any money into deals, but right now, but it could be later. But like, it doesn't matter. Like, it's about the relationship. I gained so much more from that relationship, and understanding how they're running their business, and how they go through their obstacles, and their, the outcomes that come out of it, and how they deal with that with grace and finesse, and how they treat people, like all that is like things that I take to heart. And so never cut yourself out of like even if somebody gives you like a poopy face. There's good and bad people in the world, right? And so a lot of times people are like, "Oh my god, like that person like didn't even give me the time of day." They're not your person. They're not going to be in your friend circle. You're not friends with everyone in the world, right? And so choose your circle, and get to know them, and just be open to having friendships. I think a lot of that is not, especially I think in our culture now, like we're all work, work, work and get to the point. It's like, no, break bread. Like, let's go back to the old way of like, just hanging out and like, and then business, hanging out, having fun, and then business. And so a lot of our friends kind of share that. They love to travel. But that might not be your thing. Maybe you like being at home and just like having house parties, and like, or just having one person over, and you're more introverted. Like, do you, and a lot of people close themselves off because they think that this is how this relationship would be, but it's not the case. So keep yourself open, and I wish I knew that earlier on, because I would have made freaking more connections than I even have now. But now I can actually go back and be like, hey guys, remember me, like a new person here, like I really want to know about you, right? So it's never like the end,
Yeah, man, that's really, really good advice, especially for people who are getting, started in this space or would like to get started in this space. Because I know that, I mean, I'm just thinking about, you mentioned your event with all those people there. I'm like, that sounds super intimidating to me, but like also really cool at the same time. Are you having another event
Yeah,
with?
actually, this is gonna be the fourth annual. It's only been the third. This past year was a third, and I'm like, oh my God, I gotta really do it up this year. I'm trying to do a billionaires women panel. And even women billionaires, like the guys are like, yeah, of course I'll speak to women. They're like, I mean, it's so hard. So think of like, look at even that perspective. It's like they're already made it, they're this, and they're still like calculated, right? And so it's like, I come full heart. I'm like, no, we need to hear from more women. And it's like always like, well, I don't know, let me check my calendar, let me do this. So anyways, so if you know any women billionaires, or anyone out there is hearing this, like, just say yes. Just say yes. It's a cool experience. But yeah, my next conference is going to be in August in DC. That's my home base. I've been an event producer for 20 years, as well. Me and my husband, like I mentioned, we're Latin dancers. So we have this little Latin dance festival that gets 4,000 people in DC. And we've produced that for 18 years. And it's freaking crazy. So I learned a lot of entrepreneurship there. That was while I was doing my W-2 stuff, while it was crazy. And we tacked on the Find Your Rhythm Investor Summit, and that's that literally happens right before the dance conference. And yeah, and it's just wild because, usually on the last day, everybody just converges. So we had like all of our family offices on the party bus that kind of kicked off the dance festival, and it was just so nuts. I was like, great. I have blackmail now of, this family office taking a shot on the party bus as like these dancers are like going
I
crazy.
love that so much. Oh my gosh, that's amazing. I love how your
Yeah.
worlds like come together because I feel like I try to do something similar, although not nearly as cool as yours, but to the scale. Like, I love the outdoors, I love travel, and I love real estate investing, and I try to do all of those things all at once, all the
Yeah.
time. And so I
Yeah.
still
It's
need to work on getting
beautiful.
to your level, but I really, really love that you do
But
this.
but it's like, doing that also like differentiates yourself, and then also, brings together more of your people, the ones that actually, so it's just beautiful to see. Like, community is so just something that, you can't really envision until people actually come into the room, and then you start seeing people vibe. I was so nervous. I was like, oh my God, these like stuffy suits, are gonna be so, and they were like breaking down. They were like they're like, we're coming next year for your dance festival because we didn't even know. And they're like, yeah, we want to be in all the classes. And we met, because I get, people from all around the world that come to that festival. They were like, yeah, I met these guys from Venezuela, and I met these guys from freaking France. Like, we want to do lessons with that. It's just so wild. It's so wild how things come about. But also, I think the big thing is like getting out of your own way a lot of times and just being like, what's the worst that can happen?
Right. Oh my
People
gosh.
have a good time, or they don't, and whatever. Next day, it's like-
Right? They're not your people then, so it's okay.
exactly. They're not your people. That's right.
Yeah, yeah. Well, thinking about, that transition from when you were, in the W-2 space and you were kind of overlapping with your entrepreneurial spirit, but now you're a full-time entrepreneur. What are habits and routines you've developed to stay productive and focused on your goals?
I think always coming back to the big goal. At that time wasn't thinking family and kids. Now I have two toddlers, one on the way, and a husband. But at that time in my W-2, I was in my 20s. And I think the biggest thing was like, where do I want to be? Um, how do I want my life to be? I knew I wanted to travel. I knew I didn't really want a W-2. I wanted to get to like CEO level so I could like just be speaking at all these events and then travel. And and that's what I thought it was about. Oh, like let me be that top dog so that then I can go wherever I want, do whatever. And then it kind of shifted to just being an owner, and that's really really what I figured out. Like being an owner, being really a decision maker was something that would give me that freedom. But I think the biggest thing was just staying true to the vision. Like I'm not one of those people that creates their year plan and then like has to check it off and looks at it. I'm very messy in that sense. But what I do is I'm like, here's the grand picture. What do I want? I want to be able to travel freely. I want to be able to make the connections. And if somebody invites me to Timbuktu next week, I'm gonna be like, yeah, let me think about that. How can I make that actually happen? You know? And so that kind of started my journey. And I was like, okay, well, I got to work backwards. I got to, in the beginning of my W-2, I was like, get to that CEO side. And like, so changing jobs every year was a prerogative. I had like three things that I needed to do. Like, okay, talking to HR, talking to other people in other departments to like make my way up. Right. So finding those little things to do now to get to that big picture later on was really important.
Yeah, I love how strategic you are. A lot of these things
Yeah.
sound super familiar, right? With you need to move jobs to increase your salary, et cetera, et
Yeah.
cetera. So you are very strategic, and I like this.
Yeah.
Yes, thank you for
That's
sharing
yeah,
that.
strategic but messy. It's like a weird mix.
No, it's the
It's a
perfect. It's
it's
the
a
perfect
very
fit.
very weird mix because I'm like, okay, I messed that up. Let me redo,
Yeah,
but
yeah,
that's also life. Like it doesn't have to be so perfect, so yeah. Yeah, I love that
yeah.
part.
No, it's like I said, it's the perfect combo ever. So don't let anyone tell you otherwise. We want
Yeah.
messy and strategic.
Oh,
So I
you
know
should
you
see my
mentioned,
house.
yeah,
Two toddlers.
okay,
Messy is my middle name.
it's
Yeah.
okay.
Anyway.
So I know you mentioned that you got a job when you're like 15, right? Okay.
Yeah.
So
15
I
and a
can
half.
get,
Yeah.
I can guarantee you the majority of people at 15 are not thinking about getting a job and not thinking about how to escalate their salary, right? So I'm super curious about your thoughts to this question. So obviously you have been very into increasing your salary and financial independence and figuring that all out, right? So it's something that you've put a lot of thought into. So maybe shift gears to someone that's just now beginning to consider this. Like, what does financial independence look like? How do I do it? So this is a pretty like broad question, but in about 30 seconds, what type of advice would you give someone beginning that journey?
Oh, what a great question. What a great question. I think if you're just starting out so young, I think especially now, if you're the person that um really wants to just get started, the biggest thing is challenging the status quo. And just breaking things and making it happen. If you're just getting started and you're 15 and a half and you have no ambition of financial things, just think about like where you want to be. Like some of these kids, like they're like, hey, I want to be a YouTuber. Because they think like, oh, they get all that clout, they also get like the travel, they get all this other stuff. But then what? But then what? You know, like after you've done all that and it's boring after freaking, maybe 5 years, it could be a decade for some people, but like, then what? That's where I kind of was too. I was I want things that I want, but at the same time, fast tracking that. So if you're 15 I was 15 and a half. That was a legal age that you could work in Virginia. 15 and a half. I literally waited till the day like it was 15 and a half. And so I think just think about your journey. Think about where you want to go. And a lot of my ambition actually came from, like, just to give an example, is like a lot of my ambition actually came from my family because my family was trying to make it and they were entrepreneurs and we were just a middle class family. But like my dad was such a great entrepreneur, my mom too. And then they got into a divorce and it was just like, um, money was an issue, and so I was like, naturally, I was like, I don't want to ever have to worry about money. Like, I don't want to have to, I don't want my kids. That was something that got instilled in me when I was like 10, 11 years old. And so for me, it was like so personal that I was just like, so whatever your thing is, everyone goes through things in their personal life, and maybe at 15 and a half you haven't so much, but like think about like what you really want. If you're passionate about animals, like a lot of kids are passionate about animals and saving the planet, and they because they're in, it's like, well, what would that really look like? Like think about people, they don't want to think about how they would be when they're like freaking 80 years old and look back, but like they're like so they can't even comprehend. But it really is about that, it really is about that. And it's like, no, this is life. Like you're gonna get there. You're definitely gonna get there. So my advice would be, it goes back to that being open, like in talking to people. I think the biggest misconception nowadays is like talking to people, even like the youth is like they're on these phones and all this stuff, and it's like, but like just having a conversation with an adult and being real and being like, oh my God, I have no idea what I'm gonna do for college. I have no idea what I'm gonna do for this, for that, for that. Like I have no ambitions. They think they have no ambitions. They think they have no this, like all their things in their head. It's like, no, just have a conversation. Nothing's gonna happen. You can leave it or take that advice from that adult. But what about that adult? Like that person is cool. Like let's talk to that person. Maybe that doesn't resonate, but the more conversations you have, the more connections you have, the more information that you have to expand your possibilities. But if you stay limited and closed-minded, then you will always be doubting, being like, "Oh no, oh no, oh no. Okay, and then let's just deal with this by ourselves," right? That's a great idea. Like, and so that's my 2 cents.
That a lot. I like that a lot. Great advice for someone getting started. 15 and a half or even, 35 and a half. I'm sure that definitely applies
Yeah.
no matter what.
Oh, yeah, totally. But it has to be at the half mark. It has
Yeah.
to be at the half
Yes,
mark.
obviously, of course, of course. That's funny. So Liz and I kind of already mentioned, but Liz and I really like traveling, getting outside, exploring while building wealth at the same time. We really want to have fun throughout this process and not just leave this for something that's like retirement when you're 70 or something where then you finally get to, enjoy your life. So with that being said, do you have any upcoming bucket list travel that you're hoping to accomplish in the next year or so?
Yeah. So, I happen to be at the time of this recording 3 months pregnant. And yeah, thank you. So another baby on the way. This will be our third child, fourth pregnancy. And so I actually had a lot on my bucket list this year because this has been such a great year of growth for me and my husband, doing being involved in just like some freaking amazing projects that we've been afforded to. So we actually had plans to go to Europe and to go to Africa this year, and then possibly Australia. And now I don't think I can go to Africa. I really wanted to go there to go, but yeah, too many shots. But I might be going to. But as a world traveler, like I've kind of been done the Europe market. So I really always wanted to go and just find like the pocket countries like Latvia. I've been to Latvia, but like something like that where no one, like no tourists have been, because it's really interesting when you go and then you actually stay with people that even. It's like so cool. You actually get the real. That's what I did for 10 years as a professional Latin dancer. And I think that also gives me like that grew my wings even more in appreciation in connection and understanding of people. And so that's kind of on my radar. But I am a world traveler, so I mean, I would, yeah, I'm kind of bummed I'm not going to Kenya this year, but that's going to be on my bucket list for sure. One of my really good friends is stationed is out there with her husband. They work for the World Bank, so I'm like, oh, I really want to go over there.
Man. Well,
But
first of all, congrats on your pregnancy. Super
thank
exciting for
you.
you.
Thank
A
you.
busy house for sure. So it's okay if it's messy, like we said before, because
Yeah.
a lot. That's a lot.
I kind of got over it. I'm a clean freak, but now I'm like, whatever.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
You kind of have
you
to
kind
be.
of have to
You kind
get
of have to
there.
have that
Yeah,
attitude. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
But yeah, I like how you have multiple things on your bucket list, right? Like when we ask this question, someone's like, I don't know, they say one thing and you're like, I have this and this and then this and then this. So I love
Yeah.
that. I love that.
Yeah.
And
I'm always messy in every freaking way.
yeah, no, it's perfect. It's perfect. So hopefully you can go and hit those bucket list items very soon, but a baby on the way is even better. So like I
Yeah,
said,
yeah.
congratulations again and
Thank
best
you.
wishes on that part.
Thank you.
I did have another question for you. So you mentioned obviously like your journey, the things that you've learned. What do you need? Is there anything that you need from the community that someone could be helpful to you?
Yes. This question was so hard for me to answer even like 6 months ago. It was so hard for me to answer. And then just talking it through with some of my mentors, the women mentors, of course, like my women mentors, um, really, they opened my mind up again. And the biggest thing that I need right now is collaborators. And because what, if you know family offices, they live on deal flow. They need to invest and deploy their capital to be able to continue. Because if you don't invest that dollar, you're going backwards. So you need to invest that dollar to then be able to multiply it, right?
Mhm.
Much like putting it in the bank, it's like you're losing money. So it's like the same thing. And so the problem there is that they need deals and quality deals, and so I need collaborators to bring quality projects with quality sponsors, with quality people that even from the startup side of things, just getting started in multifamily, just getting started, like as long as you have a good solid game plan, there could be a somebody who can invest in you. But my biggest thing is I need collaborators, people that are like-minded, that are trustworthy, that can expand our wings even more. I'll tell you right now, like the only reason why we're in this position that we are right now with family offices is because of collaboration. And it's very scary because you have to trust and you have to be vigilant. And there are bad actors in there that will try to just take your contacts, just take your business and all this other stuff. But you have to kind of just believe that there's enough abundance for everybody. And that's really hard to do when you're in like W-2 where you're like, you're in W-2 where you're just starting off your business where everything is competition, right? You're in
Mhm.
more competition mode, like I need the business. I need. But when you're like, hey, let me give, it's such a different thing. So I need collaborators, and I mean on a global scale as well. If you have connections, and let's just say you're here in the United States, but you have great connections in your home country in Bulgaria. Like there's always business being had in Bulgaria. There's business being had all around the world. And so collaborators in a sense of maybe you can introduce somebody to somebody that is needing import and export, or maybe there's somebody that is selling their business globally. Those are things that move the world, and I think collaboration is a key for that kind of thing.
Yeah, perfect. So, for anyone that's listening or watching this, if they would like to collaborate with you, or maybe they just want to connect with you and hear more about your story, because I know we could obviously keep this going for a while, because I would love to dig more into all these aspects, right?
Too much in
Um,
my story. Too many chapters.
what is the best way that someone can get in contact with you?
I think Instagram is probably the easiest. I'll tell you, I'm not on Instagram all the time, but Instagram would be a start. So it's just my name, Kat Aguilar Smith, and Aguilar. And so I put a lot of content. You'll see a lot of things with my kids, my family. That's really my world. But I'm slowly starting to post out like what we're really doing behind the scenes with our deals. We have right now data center deals. Globally, we have sugar deals. We have just real estate galore, hotels, a lot of different things going on. And I'm not an expert in all those things, but I'm a collaborator. And so that's really how I was afforded into these things. If I could give value, people would take it. And so that's really how I got into that. So Kat Aguilar Smith on Instagram. And then I usually give my cell phone, but I think I'll leave it at Instagram for now because of my backlog on text messages is kind of crazy. But I am most definitely meeting in person is something that is really valuable for me. Feeling somebody's vibe and then getting to know them over a steady period of time. I learned that from family offices, and that's really the best way. So come to our events. The Rhythm Investor, Find Your Rhythm Investor Summit is in August, fourth week of August, and then we also do a lot of events in DC that are just for people that just want to start out. We have them at least once a month because we're leaders in that space in real estate mainly, and so come to one of our meetups, and I'm always willing to hang out if I'm traveling and you're in the same city.
Dang, that's awesome. Well, man, it's been so much fun to have you on here. I also want to hang out with you after this, so we should
Let's
definitely.
travel. Let's go
I know.
somewhere.
I'm ready.
Yeah, let's go. How did
Oh,
I not guess that you're a traveler if you had that map behind you? I'm like, jeez, totally missed it.
yeah, and like when you actually are ready to plan Africa, I went twice last year, so like I am ready.
Oh, yes.
Absolutely love it so much. It's been so nice to learn from you. There's, I think, so many opportunities to collaborate with the data centers and all the things that you're doing with hotels and all the family offices and everything that's ongoing. I mean, there's just so many opportunities. So thanks so much for telling us more of what you're looking for, because we'll definitely be on the lookout to see how we can work with you going forward. And I know that the audience will as well. So everyone else, thanks so much for tuning into this week's episode of From Corporate to Cashflow. We will catch you next week. Hey, it's Andrea. Thanks so much for listening to this episode. If you liked it, I'd love it if you hit subscribe. Thanks so much.